Hey, Justin here. Today we're looking at the new Shimano RC7, and it's not perfect, but right now it's my favorite overall cycling and triathlon shoe. This is the new Shimano RC7. It's intended for a road cycling shoe. It's been on the market for about a year and a half now. The shoes are available in both normal and wide options for those of you with wider feet, and you can get them in both the white color that I have as well as a red and black as well. They range in price between $100 and $200 as of September 2018. So diving right into comfort with the Shimano RC7, that's actually a really big reason that I upgraded. So they have a really stiff, fully carbon sole on the bottom, which means you get a ton of great power transfer onto the pedals. And then more importantly though, the inside and this upper material here are incredibly comfortable, super nice for long distance riding. The RC7s use this BOA system closure. They have one dial, and it's essentially a metal wire that runs through the top of the shoe and a winder, so you can tighten it or loosen it just by twisting this knob. You can pull the shoes off really quickly by just pulling the dial out, and the shoe just opens up. And then when you're on the bike, you can really easily bend down, dial a couple of clicks tighter or a couple of clicks looser as your foot swells over a long ride. One of the differences between the RC7 and the higher end shoes like the Shimano S-Fire or shoes from other brands is you're only getting one BOA closure. The advantages of multiple BOA dials is you can dial in different tension and tightness for different parts of the foot. I will say that for the cost difference, I'm perfectly content with this one BOA dial. I can sort of set and forget the front Velcro closure, and then I can just use this one BOA dial for everything. I've heard on relatively good authority that the upcoming editions of the RC7 are going to add in another BOA dial down here, but that's gonna bump the price up a little bit. On the sizing front, I know for a fact that these shoes run small. I am a measured 9.5 American, which according to Shimano equates to about a 42.5. This is a 45, and this is 100% the correct shoe for me. So getting into performance, overall, it's actually shooting above its weight class, I think. Shoes have gotten so good nowadays that these mid to lower end priced shoes can actually still compete with a lot of the $300-400 shoes. 5-10 years ago, the $100 to $150 shoes were honestly just kind of crappy. Nowadays, these shoes here in this $150 price range are actually super competitive. So Shimano is claiming that this carbon sole is a 10 out of 10 for stiffness, which is a bit misleading though, because their S-Fire shoes are listed as a 12 out of 10, so take that for what it's worth. I don't put out absolutely massive watts, but I've done a good amount of out of the saddle sprinting with these, and flex from the sole has never once crossed my mind. Just to give you a sense of the stiffness, I'm pretty much pushing with all of my force here, and I can just barely get a little bit of a flex out of that old Shimano RDs. Here, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but I can feel a lot more flex coming into this, and I'm actually not even putting as much force into it. They're fairly light shoes, coming in at about 250 grams. Again, it's probably not the extreme ultra light shoes, but if you're looking in this mid-range price, I think it's doing a very good job. When it comes to performance in terms of ventilation, they've got a full set of perforated holes on the outside and a little bit of mesh up front. I live in the southern US where the real field temperature is over 100 degrees with 80-90% humidity, and they've been doing pretty darn good for me. I would take a little more ventilation if it was there. I don't know if I would trust them to dry super quickly, not as quickly for sure as a dedicated triathlon shoe. So overall on the performance front, I think Shimano did a fantastic job. There's a couple of little annoyances which I think people should be aware of. So the first one, going on the BOA closure, this wire right here likes to come out of its track. Every single review that I've seen online, the BOA wire is actually not in its correct orientation. So essentially what happens is you'll loosen your shoe just like that, and then the wire pops off. So that guy right there is supposed to be looped over and in that little hook, just like that. You guys understand the broad point. That's supposed to be how it looks. When you loosen the shoe, it pops off just like that, and then you go to tighten it, and then it just gets pulled through, but now the shoe doesn't close properly and you're not getting enough tension. Next con, these are non-replaceable rubber protectors down here. So this is a carbon sole, which means you don't want to be scuffing it on rocks, anything like that. On higher end shoes, these are actually replaceable so that over the course of years, as you do a bunch of walking on concrete and they wear down, you can just replace them. These are not. Next, if you are a triathlete who's doing flying mounts where you're jumping on your bike and you've got your shoes already attached to the bike pedal, these do not have a loop on the heel, so it's going to be harder for you to pull your shoes on as you go or rubber band your shoes to your bike so that they're in the right position. If you're doing really fast sprints and you plan on doing flying mounts, that's something to consider. And then the last little con, this material right here on the front of the shoes is actually really scuffable. Lots of people are scuffing this material on their shoes. So if you're the type of person who cares a lot about the look, if you're going to be super upset if your shoe gets scuffed, it's something to bear in mind. So ultimately, the RC7 is not an absolutely perfect shoe. It has its flaws, but for that price point from $120 to $150, I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to do a lot better than this. If you're a triathlete or a cyclist who's looking to get a shoe which is going to last them a really long time and be super, super comfortable, this should probably be on your short list. I hope you guys like this review. Stick around and subscribe if you want. If you have any questions about this shoe or cycling shoes in general or anything else, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you found this useful, I super hope you hit the thumbs up. That helps me out and helps other people get this information as well. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everybody. Go do some kick-ass training of your own, and I'll see you on the next one.